Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Reality, the podcast about the strange, unexplained but real. We like to talk about the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot, skinwalkers, UFOs, aliens, paranormal, anything that is atypical and mysterious. We would like to hear from you. Share your encounters and experiences with us at unexplained.reality@yahoo.com. You can also join our Facebook group or hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Also, check us out on YouTube. Please rate us on iTunes or whatever podcatcher you use. Good evening and welcome to Unexplained Reality with Brian Quinn and
Harrison Quinn.
we hope everybody's had a lovely week. And
We can't even make it through the intro. Oh, jeez.
we were trying to be a little more serious. We're going to do like, I don't know, Wisconsin cable access channel, something. I don't know. I had something in my head, but I couldn't hold it up.
Welcome to Unexplained Reality.
Yes, welcome. Hope everybody's had a good week. We've had an outstanding week. We're actually back. There's not like months between recordings, so we just recorded last week and we're back again. We've both got coffee and we're
You have
having
coffee.
it.
Mine's gone.
Oh yeah, you sucked yours down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, hope everybody had a good time with our last episode, and look forward to this one.
Yep.
As usual, we'll go through our normal run-of-the-mill stuff. If you have an encounter or have had an encounter or an experience, we'd love to talk to you. If you think it's something we'd like to do on the show, or if you want to do it, and we can do it anonymously, however you want to do it. Unexplained.reality@yahoo.com. You can hit us on Facebook. We have the Facebook page and a Facebook group. I don't know why we have that. Just guess because I'm slack. I haven't blown away the page. And Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. I did recently, like just a few nights ago, looked at our YouTube channel, because our shows, when we post them to the hosting site here, it just automatically puts them out there on YouTube. And I've never really gone out there and looked at it, but we had quite a few comments, so I couldn't believe there was quite a few. So I went out there and responded to those. Some of them were like 4 or 5 months old, so I apologize for that. I'll try to do better and look at that once a week. Any feedback you guys can give us, we enjoy hearing it. I was really happy to see that all the ones on YouTube were positive, so that's always good. We've had a few ratings, where people just chose star ratings on iTunes, and there's been a couple comments. If you like the show and you're using iTunes, please go out and rate us. It helps us. The more stars, the more ratings, the more reviews you get, you move up, and it's just a popularity thing, and you get more access to more people when you get reviews and ratings. I don't know. Do you have anything else? You have anything to add?
No.
All right. I guess we can go right into the news for this week. We got a couple stories. Cryptozoologynews.com. We've got just one. It's actually kind of an older one, but we're going to go through it. Let's see. It is Portugal women encounter Neanderthal. It says a woman in Portugal claims she and her sister saw 2 Neanderthals. The 83-year-old Sarah Destrella resident told Cryptozoology News she and her sister were caring for a herd of cows when they spotted the 2 primitive men I was 5 years old and my sister was 8. We were in a remote area in Serra de Estrella when we saw two naked men speaking a totally strange language. She said about the 1939 alleged encounter. Then we saw them entering a cave. The following day, she explains they decided to check out the cave with their sheepdog. But when we reached the cave, our dog didn't want to go in. He kept growling, and my sister wanted to go back. We could smell smoke that appeared to come from inside the cave. Later that day, she reports that when they told their father about the incident, he became angry. He told us he already knew about the existence of these people. He said they were the original peoples who survived in a few numbers and were still living in a primitive state. I remember him saying that there were only about half a dozen individuals left. The wild people, as the one referred to, were described as being naked and had a yellow skin tone color. Now this one's interesting. I didn't know that this. In 2015, a man in North Carolina reported to have seen a 10-foot tall Neanderthal.
Pretty tall?
Yeah, in North Carolina, which is, like 50 miles up the road.
You've got rivers, it snows, it's a prime location, it's got good scenery. You ever been up to the rock or the Smokies? I was about to say the Rockies.
The Rockies, they're in North Carolina.
The Smokies is great. It's a great prime real estate location. Of
course. I understand that, but a 10-foot tall Neanderthal?
People are people.
He must have just saw a Bigfoot. He
just wants to see the scenery.
He just saw Sasquatch.
That's true.
Because a lot of times people say they are kind of human looking in the face and stuff.
Sasquatch had slightly evolved a little bit more into a human.
Well, a lot of times, Neanderthals are, a lot of times when they're depicted in museums and stuff, they have like a light coating of hair all over their body.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a lot of times that's how Sasquatch is. People say you can see the muscle definition and stuff through the hair, so it's not fur. Why are you laughing? What is wrong with your brain?
I was just thinking about you just complete silence. I was like, that's pretty tall.
That's pretty tall. That means I wasn't paying attention. I was playing with my iPhone.
I heard you say 10
So just in case anybody wants me to read between the lines here. Yeah. Harrison was screwing around instead of
I was
doing
actually
what
reading
his
the comments
duty was.
on our YouTube channel. Reading the feedback. But
you should have done that 5 months ago when people started leaving.
You didn't do it either.
I know. But yeah. Okay, so anyways, that was sounds pretty cool. I mean, you think, Bigfoot's one thing, but a Neanderthal, to see a Neanderthal, or what you think is a Neanderthal, is pretty primitive people that, don't know the modern, whatever word I'm looking for, modern things we have now.
He's trying so hard.
Modern things. All right. So these next ones come from phantomsandmonsters.com. This one, it says, it was 18 years ago, leaving work, we saw the UFO, all four of us, just before noon. And in like a flash, it was nighttime. We were amazed because it happened so suddenly. I never saw so many stars in my life. It was like they were so close and huge, like we could reach out and touch them. There was a full moon to the left of us, and this craft was in front of the wharf, at the end giving off a glow. Scientifically minded, I walked up to the darn thing, and what happened was, all of a sudden, the sun was...
That would be me. Thinking, I'm not even laughing, just him saying that. That would be me, though. I'd see something out in the woods and be like, ooh, what's that? Like, you always hear, oh, no, I'm not, and the first one to die in the horror movies, I'm not going to go check out the noise.
What is that noise? What is that glowing? Let me go touch it.
If it was a glow, I'd go check it out, but if it was, say, the absence of a glow, say, in a basement or something, no, that's off. No. I'm chaining the doors up. Y'all can have fun down there. No thanks.
Well, it just cracks me up. It's like, there's something bright and shiny. I must go touch it.
I'm going to go walk
But
over
what
to the
really
darn
got me
thing.
about it, says scientifically minded. And he says, I walked up and touched the darn thing. I don't know. It just seemed like two different things there. Scientifically and then darn thing. And what happened was, all of a sudden, the sun was breaking. Like in mere moments, like under an hour. And then I went home. My brother was with me and my two friends went to their respective places. My mother hollered, where have you two been? because we were gone 2 days. Oh, that's a lost time. Oh. So we were on board for the whole night, the day and the night. Clyde asked what he saw on board. I'm not going to go into it, but the evidence is I was 5'11" when I came home. I was 5'9". Wow, he lost 2 inches. Age 18, and my brother also reduced in size. And Wally and his girlfriend Jane, Clyde asked if they removed a bone which caused him to become shorter. I don't know who Clyde is. I'm not sure what's going on there.
The Bonnie's boyfriend.
Smack you.
Aren't you guys glad I'm like interactive and
yeah, for real?
I'm able to make bad puns, be able to laugh at Brian.
We're trying to read a serious story here about somebody's experience. You're not looking good for anybody wanting to talk to us.
I'm so sorry.
We're just in a stupid mood tonight, so we apologize, but hey.
Yeah.
I guess I was an investigator because it says that I don't know these investigators. They came twice. They said, we know more about you than you know about yourself. Not just shorter, but reduced size all the way around. They looked my size score, and I was 5'11". They measured, at the hospital. I couldn't believe it. It was a shock. My mother was in shock. All my friends were in shock. I had MRIs, and I was never told that I had any bones removed. Says Clyde asked if maybe they took pieces of the bone. That I don't know. And Wally, he was a small guy to begin with. His family was in such shock. Now they had just got through building their dream home, and they were in such shock that the father said, "We're moving." He said, "Where are we moving to, Dad?" He said, "Never mind, we're moving," and left. So they got out of town. I guess that would kind of freak you out. Your kid goes missing for 2 days. When he comes back, he's smaller.
Short. Yeah.
He's smaller, shorter, just like been shrunken.
It's like that'd be a bad time,
Yeah.
You go out and you just touch some object and you get shorter.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that because I'm already short.
I feel like that'd be pretty cool though. You could be Ant-Man. You just keep touching it, keep getting smaller. You get smaller and smaller, and then eventually you can just like slip
until you met an ant, and then they like attacked you. Cannibalized you.
We're so sorry.
We're taking you back to the Queen.
I think there was something in that coffee creamer we just bought.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Oh, anyways, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny though. Keep touching it until you just. It's like pump up the volume, we pump it down, boom, 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 boom. You're just getting smaller and smaller.
Oh no.
I'm out of a size 9. All right, the next one is, it's also, the rest of these are from phantomsofmonsters.com. This one is Irish priest calls for more exorcists. That's never good. This is from January 24th, 2018 from Dublin, Ireland. An Irish priest and exorcist is asking the country's bishops for more support after noticing a dramatic increase in demonic activity in the country. In a recent interview with the Irish Catholic friar Pat Collins, said he has been overwhelmed with the number of requests for exorcisms from the faithful in Ireland. In an open letter, he has urged the Irish bishops to train more priests to deal with the demand. It's only in recent years that demand has risen exponentially, Collins told the Irish Catholic. Collins' comments are on par with those of exorcists throughout the world, including the International Association of Exorcists, a group of 400 Catholic leaders and priests, which has reported a dramatic increase in demonic activity in recent years. That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
This is about the doomsday clock. Yeah, they moved it up by 30 seconds or something. Well, we can read it. Doomsday clock closer to apocalypse hour. Mounting concerns about the possibility of nuclear war, along with the U.S. President Donald Trump's unpredictability, have pushed the symbolic doomsday clock to 2 minutes before midnight, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists said Thursday. The clock, which serves as a metaphor for how close humanity is to destroying the planet, was moved forward by 30 seconds to as near as it has ever been to the hour of the apocalypse. In 2017, world leaders failed to respond effectively to the looming threats of nuclear war and climate change, making the world security situation more dangerous than it was a year ago, and as dangerous as it has been since World War II, said a statement by the group of intellectuals across the fields of international affairs, science, environment, and security. The last the last time the clock was at 2 minutes to midnight was in 1953, when the United States and Soviet Union were testing hydrogen bombs. In this year's discussions, nuclear issues took center stage once again. Rachel Bronson, President and CEO of Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, told reporters. She described 2017 as perilous and chaotic, a year in which we saw reckless language in the nuclear realm heat up already dangerous situations. She mentioned the series of tests by North Korea, enhanced commitment to nuclear weapons in China, Pakistan, and India, and unpredictability embodied by the U.S. president in tweets and statements. The doomsday clock was created in 1947. Its time has changed 20 times since then, ranging from 2 minutes to midnight in 1953 to 17 minutes before midnight in 1991. So, that's also scary. Maybe it coincides with all the demonic activity.
They move it up 30 seconds, and then it's just like way more demonic activity.
Yeah.
It's directly related.
That's right. It's exponential. Look at me like, you're fired.
Okay.
Okay, next one is Sasquatch license plate proposed. This is pretty cool. Washington State Senator Ann Rivers is added again with recognition for one beloved cryptid. Though this time, the lawmaker is eyeing a fundraising opportunity for Washington state parks through Sasquatch branded license plates with a bill in the legislature this year. Senate Bill 6151 would create a specialty license plate featuring the cryptid, short for cryptozoological creature, with revenues from its sales directed toward park maintenance and improvement in the state, according to a release from Rivers' office January 10th. The bill's primary sponsor, Rivers, touted the creature's notoriety in the area as making it a viable way to help out parks. I'm guessing Sasquatch has a hidden talent as a fundraiser, Rivers stated in a release, and assuming that Sasquatch is a native Washingtonian and our state parks are part of Sasquatch's native habitat, it makes perfect sense to capitalize on Sasquatch's popularity in a way that would help protect and improve that habitat. That's pretty cool. I believe that's a good idea too. I want to move to Washington State so I can get me a Sasquatch license plate on my Jeep.
The real question is,
oh Lord, let me not drink anything.
What is Sasquatch's secret talent? Think he can juggle?
It's being able to remove your head from your body.
And then juggling it.
And then juggling you and your two friends. Maybe it's removing your arm from your body and beating you with it. Or something like that.
It's pretty good talent. Yeah. I'd say.
No, you know what his secret talent is? Hide and seek. Come on.
His hidden talent is being able to smell beef jerky from 3 light years away.
And hide and seek. And bending light.
Jack Link's was right all along.
They might be. I mean, there's got to be some relativity.
You just open a bag of beef jerky and Sasquatch is there. Like, that's how you get a Sasquatch sighting. Why has nobody tried that? Like, I've never heard anybody putting a bag of Jack Links out.
We should go out backyard and do it right now.
We should. Do we have any Jack Links? I don't think we have.
No, we don't have it. We had to go to Walmart.
All right, we're going to Walmart. Where's the keys?
We're going to Walmart. You can't even drive.
You're driving. I'll go pick. You give me a 20 and I'll go in and grab some.
Give you a 20. I got no cash. I never got cash.
I'll get as many beef jerky packs as I can with the 20.
How much beef jerky can I buy for a 20? Like, you are from around here, aren't you?
Oh, Lord.
Would you like a Mountain Dew to go with that?
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, that was fun. So, you have any news to add?
I was going to talk about the doomsday clock, but you covered it. So.
But he beat you to it. I didn't know you was going to do that one. I would have kept my mouth shut. I'd ate me some beef jerky over here in the corner and been quiet. Yeah. They'll do that. Your lip is disturbing me right now. Yeah. That is just weird. All right, what we're gonna do is take a few minute break, and we'll be back momentarily to continue with our stupendously awesome episode.
Tell us a story, Ranger Chet.
Oh, okay. I could tell you about the time I locked eyes with Sasquatch, or about my brush with the elusive Chupacabra. Then there was that encounter with the Mothman.
Yeah, tell us about the Mothman.
Of course, I once saw a lake monster and a sea monster on the same day.
Wow!
That's not even taking all the ghosts, aliens, and UFOs into account.
You've seen all that as a park ranger?
No, son. Those are the creatures I've encountered in my cryptid crate.
What's a cryptid crate?
Cryptid Crate is a monthly subscription box that arrives on your doorstep each and every month. It's filled with various cryptozoology and paranormal themed items such as t-shirts, hats, art, media, and other collectibles.
I want a cryptid crate. Yeah, I want one too.
You can get yours by visiting www.cryptidcrate.com. Sign up is quick and easy, and shipping is always free. I can't wait to get my Cryptid Crate, but for now, how about that story?
All right, we're back. Hope everybody had got them a beverage, went to the loo. Tonight's episode, we are talking about star children, and the star skull kind of goes together, I guess. So, yeah, throughout the world, there are kids that have these unexplainable abilities and knowledge. They know things that are beyond their ears. So, at early ages, they're able to do complex, thoughts. They have an ability to know information about different subjects, different areas of study, and link those together, which is, kind of even for adults, sometimes, depending on what the subjects are, can be pretty complicated, and these kids at an early age are able to do some of these things. Some feel that these children are just the products of good genes. However, some believe these children have their roots in another world, like literally. Many of these kids, are born with this knowledge, some of the knowledge that they have. So it's kind of weird that they can be so young and know things that they've never learned, that there's not a possible way they could learn, and they know them. Some of these abilities extend beyond just, knowledge. In many instances, they have psychic abilities or telepathy, telekinesis. It could be that, these children have some kind of otherworldly connection. Or could it be that? That's what a lot of people speculate. And they speculate that the children are indeed rooted in another world, and that they were intentionally sent or placed here, which is kind of spooky to think about. But that maybe these children are a new evolutionary chain of mankind. Scientific study has shown that the human DNA structure has evolved by 7% over the past 5,000 years. Mm-hmm. However, in these cases, it doesn't seem to explain that, because why would everybody be at the same or pretty much the same level? Yeah. How would you have these kids that are outstanding? So it says, most who have studied the star children say that, they are more than just an evolutionary jump or an example of superior knowledge. They have abilities that are far beyond what humans should be able to do. They have heightened senses and are able to seemingly pick up on what others might be thinking, so it's kind of spooky, some of them, but, they seem to operate with a mission, too, in a lot of cases. So at an early age, they seem to know what their purpose is. And, yeah, I don't know, it's weird, strange, for you to be that young and be able to know, have a vision of what you're there for or whatever. Yeah. So it is very different than most kids, That's not a childish behavior, You have a lot of adults that don't know what their purpose is.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, really.
honestly.
I don't know what my purpose is, really. I mean,
Yeah, your true purpose.
I pay taxes and pay
Yeah.
bills. My purpose is to pay bills.
But that kind of reminds me of the movie Lucy. If you guys have ever seen it, you may have seen it, but it was a little bit of an older movie, and it was about this girl who was on the streets, right? And this drug lord picked her up off the streets and was having her like a drug mule, and they had some new drug that was like never tested before inside of her in her stomach, and they were gonna smuggle her to America. And when she got there, someone had like punched her in the gut or something, and it broke the bag that was inside of her,
Yeah.
and it leaked out into her system, and it was a ton of it, and it was based off of the drug that was in her stomach was based off of a very small amount of some. I can't remember. It's a nucleic acid or a protein that's created when a fetus is developing in the mother's womb, and it helps with the development of the mind, basically just the mind, and a little bit with the body in babies to help them, develop into full babies. And after she did that, her mind started increasing using different like amounts of like percentages of her brain, because scientists say that we only use 10 or 20% of our brain,
Right.
or however much. And she starts getting increased brain function, and she can retain information extremely easily. She has a purpose. She wants to find who did it to her, and then she eventually it's a pretty crazy movie. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's an interesting movie. I don't know if it would be scientifically accurate, but it's pretty interesting. It kind of reminds me of the heightened sense thing.
Yeah, well, I think that goes without saying with these kids. There's no explanation. I mean, nobody really knows. And to go along with them having like a mission, most of the times the mission is for betterment of humankind or mankind, which is not typical for a kid either. If you're on a mission, you don't think about the world and everybody in it, and I don't know. It's just, but they go. I mean, you have compassionate kids. You have kids. You're a pretty compassionate kid. I mean, you're not really a kid anymore. But you have always been kind of, even when you were little, you were compassionate. But this even goes beyond that. This is it's weird. It's like they're programmed or something. So some star children are suspected, or suspected star children can go long periods without sleeping and eating. A lot of times they seem like they have more activity than normal child. They're, I guess, kind of almost hyper. Some believe the star children have been on this earth for thousands of years, because 6 BC, the father of Pythagoras, mathematical thing, Pythagorean theorem.
You tried.
Sorry,
hard.
Pythagoras. I just butchered everything about you.
He's listening right now.
Yeah,
he's so offended.
A squared plus b squared equals c squared. He was on his way home. His father was on his way home from work, and he found this infant just, like he's walking on a path, and there's this little kid standing there looking at the sky, and so the father took him home, and I don't know how things were handled back then. Now we call police and stuff. Back then, obviously, it was different time, 6 BC. So he took the kid home and kind of raised the kid with his sons, and one of them was Pythagoras, and he kind of gave the kid to Pythagoras to be his, like, what's the word? His not. It was kind of like his servant, his apprentice. That's the word. And the father named the kid Astraeus, which is Greek for star child, right? And but a lot of people have taken that now and said, well, because he named him Star Child, there had to be a reason, and the kid just showed up on the scene, don't know where he came from. And then, Pythagoras comes up with all this crazy mathematical stuff. So, it's kind of believed that maybe that Astraeus was a star child, like his name said, and that he was the one that gave Pythagoras the mathematical theorems and theories that he came up with. or help them develop them. So, how could star children have these powers? Well, since the beginning of humanity, it's believed that we have always existed with two strands of double helix DNA. But there's also 10 strands of etheric DNA that has been dormant since the beginning of time. So some people, some scientists believe that, or people that believe in star children believe that these strands were put there by design, and that they can be basically like activated or awakened when needed. And so I believe some people believe that these star children might be, their DNA might be, those strands might be active. I don't see why they couldn't test that though, can they?
Yeah, but
Wouldn't they be able to test it?
I feel like if there's dead strands, they're not dead necessarily, but if
They're
there's
dormant.
unused, dormant strands of DNA, it's probably because some trait or some thing in our DNA that we don't need anymore. Probably not necessarily something that was put in that we could use whenever, but something that we had and there's no use for it.
Yeah. Well, I see where you're going. It's
kind of like Darwin. Darwin observed the bird in the Galapagos, the finch, and different ones had different types of beaks. Like they evolved, and they've still got the long beaks, or the really thick beaks in their DNA because it was there. It's gonna be there because their ancestors had it, but they don't necessarily have it anymore. That's more my opinion on that. But I feel like it could be. Never know.
Yeah, I mean nobody knows, obviously. But I don't understand why they can't. Why you wouldn't be able to take a star, what you believe is a star child, and test his DNA and
I don't know. I don't know if you can do that. Just like see what the actual traits of DNA are. I don't know. Maybe
here, take this swab and roll it around your mouth. Give it to me.
We can figure out everything about you.
We're gonna put it in a microscope.
Send it to 23andme.com. They'll tell you if you're a star child.
They put under a microscope Shaq's on it. Shaq smiling at him.
Did you see a picture of his head on your DNA? That's the meaning of life. Is Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal's in my microscope.
Oh, Lord.
That is a funny commercial.
That's
a hilarious commercial. Anyways, back on task here. So over the years, there have been a number of kids that have. I mean, there's supposedly there's a lot of kids that fit the profile for what people consider star children, but over the years, there's been a couple standouts that have been, publicly lauded for their accomplishments. One is Sho Yano. He was born in Portland, Oregon in 1990. By the age of 2, he was able to read. He was writing at age 3. Played classical piano by 4. He's composing music by 5. Just easy stuff. Nothing real hard there. At 8 years of age, he scored a 1500 on SAT. I'm beginning not to like this kid. By the age of 8, a 1500 out of 1600 on the SAT. He graduated from the American School of Correspondence at 9 years of age, and then entered Loyola University in Chicago, where he graduated summa cum laude at 12. He then entered medical school at University of Chicago at 2009. At the age of 18, he was awarded a PhD in cell biology and molecular genetics. At 21, he graduated with a medical degree from the University of Chicago. He has been referred to as a real-life Doogie Howser because he's really young and he was already a doctor. And apparently it's not just him. His sister apparently is advanced intellectually also. She was born in 96, and in 2010 she graduated from Roosevelt University with a biology degree. And she's also studied at Peabody Institute of Johns Hopkins and majored in violin performance. And then Sho has an IQ of 200. So he is what we call a smart feller. I had to get it in there.
He needs to be president of the United States of America. America.
Well, he may be one day when he gets finished being a doctor.
That'd be good.
He'll be like 32.
Imagine he does all that and he becomes like a pediatrician, like a children's pediatrician. And the kids come in and he's just like, There's Band-Aid for that. He's like, I got an owie. He's like, oh, yes, Band-Aid and small amounts of Neosporin every 3 hours.
What are you
He's
talking
got an
about?
IQ of 200 and he works at a children's
He's working
pediatrician joint.
Oh, Lord. I'm working triage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think he's a doctor at 21.
Yeah.
That cat's going to be loaded by the time he retires.
For real. He's going to be rich.
Rich!
I don't think he really needs to have money. I mean, he's probably the smartest man alive at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's got a high IQ. I don't know. He's really dumb, actually.
Rest in peace, Albert Einstein.
All right, so the next guy, next kid was named Adam Kirby. He's the youngest member of British Mensa. He was 2 years old when he scored a 141 on the standard Binet IQ test. He was able to spell 100 words, knew his times tables up to 10, and had learned the periodic table all by the age of 2. Adam's father is quoted as saying, while most children are just learning to stand up or crawl, Adam was reading books. His development was just mind-blowingly quick. We used to show him cards with the words hippopotamus and rhinoceros on them, and he could identify the right animals most of the time. His score, 141 on the IQ test, was just shy of being deemed genius, but considerably higher than the average person. There's also another little girl named Maddie Patillo. I don't know how she is now. I couldn't find a lot of information about her. Her mom apparently wrote a book about her abilities and things she had happened to her when she was young, and then also about her daughter. But since she was little, she's told her mom that her home is in the sky. She had psychic visions and could perform telekinesis, which is moving objects with your mind, using mind powers. Right. So, anyways, those are some of the Star Children. They go beyond just. Those are just small example or subset of Star Children. In where was it? Was it China? China. They did the study. They looked for all these smart kids and stuff, and there was a story about one of the little girls. She could. I don't even know how you would
wave her hand over a bush and speed up.
The little flower buds would bloom when it would open up and bloom.
Yes,
like she's speeding up time.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Doctor Strange, it's like when he's got the eye of Agamotto, he's got the little spell around his hand. He moves his hand back and forth after he took a bite out of the apple, and he moves it forward, and the apple starts to rot because it got old, and he moves it back, and it takes the bite out of it, kind of like that. The description, she moved her hand over the bush and sped up time, and the bush's flowers started blooming. Yeah,
I mean that's crazy. But you think about some of those that they investigated too. They had telekinesis going on. People be able to levitate objects and move them. Psychic powers, being able to know what you're thinking or what's in the future, what's coming. But I don't. If these kids look like normal kids and stuff, well, I guess it could be like you said. You get extra brain activity, using more brain than what the average human can use.
Yeah.
But that's really the only explanation you can come up for with these situations to make these kids be able to do these things,
Yeah.
It's not like they have big old heads or,
I was going to say, if you want to use more of your brain power, your brain would operate at a higher level, which means it would operate more. You need more blood going to your brain, more oxygen, so it could operate as high.
But would you? I mean, because your brain's got blood and all that going to
it's
it.
got blood,
But if you're just using a bigger percentage, wouldn't that blood still circulate
It
through?
would circulate through it, but you're using it, like, say you're doing your arm like this, you're using
Right.
blood, but if you need to move your arm like that, you need more blood to it to power.
Yeah, but it's not like you have a little bag over here on the sides like you're, like you do on a car where you have your overflow tank, and the more you pump it, it sucks it out of there to give you more. I mean, you still only got so much blood in your body.
That's true.
So, I mean,
I was just, feel like you need more blood to...
Well, this kind of rolls into it good because we're going to go on and talk about the Star Child skull. So in 1930, in the 1930s, it might have been in 1930, I'm not sure. In Copper's Canyon, Mexico, a 13-year-old girl wandered off into the mountains and was exploring some abandoned mines. Now, I think the way the story goes is this girl was from the U.S. I think she was originally from Mexico, her family, but they were settled in the U.S. and they went back to visit family in this little village. I think it's close to Chihuahua, Mexico. Our Chihuahua sitting there. His eyes perked up. He's like, "What? Are you talking about me?" So she went. They went. Her family went back to visit family there, and she went out. They told them, they went outside to play. I guess her and her cousins or whatever. I don't know, siblings, and they told her, stay close by. Well, she didn't listen. She went into the mountains, in the canyons. And there's a lot of old mines there, and I think that's primarily why they didn't want them. And plus, wildlife and stuff. You don't want them kids jumping around in the mountains and stuff. And anyway, she didn't listen, so she was investigating old abandoned mines and stuff, just seeing what she'd get into. And in one of the mines, she found a skeleton. I believe it was actually two skeletons, and I think the way it went is, one of them was, laying there uncovered, fully exposed. And the other one was there was a pile of, I believe it was a pile of dirt or something next to the other one. And it contained another skeleton. And there was an arm or a misshapen hand coming out of that dirt. And it had the skeleton she saw first, like by the upper arm. Like it had its hand around its arm. And, anyway, so she was intrigued by this, so she collected up these bones and in a bag or whatever, and she was going to she wanted to get them back to her house in the U.S., but she knew her parents were going to be like, "What's going on?" So I think she took those bones out of that mine, and she found a place to hide them, and it was like in a crevice under a tree, like a root system. You know how you get those openings there, and so she found a little place in there, put the bag in there so it'd be protected from the elements. Well, I think what happened was they had a bad rain come through, and it washed all those bones out. So when she went back to get them, there was only I think 2 skulls and maybe some smaller bones or whatever, but she took those and she got them back, somehow got them back to the U.S. And I think many years went by because she was 13 in the 30s. And I think when, she was like in her 70s or 80s or something like that. I can't remember. I think maybe she passed away or something and somebody had run across these skulls, or I can't remember how, but it got in the hands of this couple that were, I can't remember what their specialty was, but somebody gave them to them thinking they would have an interest in them. Well, when they started looking at them, it just so happens that both of these people, this husband and wife team, were in MUFON, which is the Mutual UFO Network, I think is what it stands for. And as they started looking at these skulls, they realized one of them was really odd shaped, and that's what they call the Star Child skull. So what they did is they looked at it and they started analyzing the skull. Well, they had some experts look at it, and a lot of the scientific experts claim that, oh, this is, the initial reaction when you see it, you think, oh, it's just a misshapen skull. And when you think of that, the first thing you jump to is hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain, which is not actually water. Yeah. It's actually just a abundance of spinal fluid, and it puts pressure on the skull and makes the skull misshape, unless corrective procedures are done to remove that excess. So, anyways, so that's what most people see this and they think, wow, the skull is crazy looking. Well, the skull was inspected by Dennis, and he came up with that it was probably no older than 5 years old, whatever, by examining the teeth that were there, because there's like no bottom jaw. It's just some of the top jaw in there. And it's interesting to note that in cases of hydrocephalus, the head blows up, so to speak. It gets really, and it doesn't necessarily stay symmetrical. And they don't have a seam down the center usually of the skull, and it doesn't have a defined shape. Like I said, it's just wherever the pressure's at, that's where the skull extends. So it can be very misshapen, and they can be anything but symmetrical. It's not typical to see hydrocephalus be symmetrical. So. Some other unique characteristics of the skull. But that being said, the Star Child skull does have a seam down the middle, and even though it's odd shaped, it doesn't look so terribly misshapen. It doesn't look like blown up. It just looks like a big big noggin. I mean, it does. It just looks really big, and it's very weird because it's very tapered towards the bottom. The eye sockets don't look right. Some other unique characteristics about it, it's 10% larger than the average adult skull. And this is supposed to be a 5-year-old child, and it's 10% larger than the average human adult skull. It is half the thickness of an average skull, but it's twice as dense. And the material of the skull is not a typical composition of a human skull or a regular human skull. It appears to be made out of tooth enamel, which is crazy. So it's the consistency of tooth enamel, and it has some fibrous material, like woven or grown into the material, which looks like it would add strength or whatever. Typically, you add fibers to something to make it stronger, but I don't know that. I mean, you can't say it's by design. It's just, I mean, maybe it is, but it was, it's just something that just exists here, or that they found. Another interesting thing about it is that inside the skull itself, there are points, like connection points for tendons. So that's inside the skull cavity there where the brain would reside. And we as human skulls don't have that. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Why would they have whatever this is, why would it have that? And there's no sinus cavities. And, when you think about sinus cavities, sinus cavities are... I thought, sinus cavities were for filtering what you breathe. You got all the little hairs up there and stuff. But apparently your sinus cavities are more for resonance when you talk. So you can get a good tone. So if this thing didn't have sinus cavities, then it probably, didn't have a real...
loud voice.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
That's why when you talk, you can feel yourself. That's why deaf people, when they talk, they can feel themselves talk. Not only because of this, they can feel the rumble,
the vibration coming up. Yeah,
but that's see, my paleontologist background. That's not really paleontologist at all.
Dude, you're 15.
Yeah, I know. Okay. But me being interested in dinosaurs and prehistoric animals.
Doogie Dino Hauser here.
Okay, but parasaurs, or I can't say the full name. I can't. It's Parasaurolophus or something like that. Something of that sort. They had the duck-billed dinosaur.
Oh yeah.
That. And
Now I know what you're talking about.
That it had the big horn on top of its head.
Platypusasaurus.
No. But it would use. They thought originally scientists thought that big crest on its head was for like mating, like how peacocks have big feathers. You know, the biggest kind of wasn't really horn, but the
just
biggest crest.
to give them a display.
But it actually they found a more intact skull that had the crest on it, and they realized that there were like empty tubes going all through it, and there was like a slot at the top, and it was actually like a big horn, like a big. Like that, and that's, you know, sound cavities. But what reminded me with that, you're talking about how the skull was half as thick, or I think
it was half the
thickness, but twice as dense.
Right.
Which, the density would be relative to how important it is. You know,
right.
Our brains are important, which is why our skulls are so much harder,
right.
Or you know, extremely layered, rather than our other bones. But, if it's that, you know, extremely dense, and those, you talking about the connection points that they had in the brain for, you know, tendons, that could be like, me just thinking like theories and stuff, maybe they had multiple brain stems instead of just one, so they could process things faster,
right?
Know, like a computer, instead of having one,
right, instead of one bus, you have multiple buses. Yeah. So well, I mean, there is a there's a lot of documentation on the skull. We probably could have done multiple episodes just on the skull. I don't think he was a doctor. Lloyd Pye was a guy that's really known well for really pushing or talking about. He was like the expert on the Star Child skull, and there's some very good documentaries and lectures by him about the skull and the differences between a human skull. With the way it attaches to the spine would have attached to the head and all that, just it's very, very interesting. Like I said, we could have done hours. You know, we could have talked hours about that, but I figured it'd bore everybody to death. But yeah, I mean that it's interesting because when they tested the skull, they take to figure out the capacity of the skull, they use some kind of little seeds. I can't remember what they call them, but they filled the skull up with them, and like an average skull, human adult skull, had like 1,200 of these seeds that it could contain, and this one contained 1,600. So they couldn't even figure out how it was getting that many in there. They were just baffled by how much capacity was inside the skull.
Half as dense, you know.
Yeah.
10% larger.
Yeah, but very, very hard,
half as thick, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and very hard, being a very hard skull. So you got, like you said, you got half the thickness, but much more dense to protect it. I'm seeing some reflection out the window. I guess that's the neighbor's house. I thought it was a moon. I was like, why is the moon shining there?
You gotta fight the moon if it's that bright.
For real. So, anyways, so it has these connection points which don't match up with human skulls. No sinus cavities. There's also a reddish residue to the skull, which resembles bone marrow. However, bone marrow, when it oxidizes, it gets black. You know, it gets dark. So not reddish like that. So that's kind of strange. But let's see. Because the similarities of the Star Child skull with the human skull characteristics and something that doesn't appear human, many believe that this skull is a human hybrid, and of course they think it's a human alien hybrid.
Yeah.
And I guess they kind of have, some background or backbone to that. They did a forensics reconstruction of the Star Child skull. And when they constructed it based off of its dimensions and its the way it's constructed, what they came up with resembled a gray alien, or Graylien. Yeah. So a gray alien is what some have claimed to see during an alien encounter of abductions. So it has a large, oversized head with a very narrowing, pointy chin area.
Big
Comes
black
down big
eyes.
black eyes that are they're not deep set. They're kind of out and have like a panoramic view almost, with them. Small nose, like almost no nose. Little tiny mouth, but very creepy looking.
I only eat pineapple seeds.
No. Only eat those straw. No, he has like a big straw that comes out, sucks your innards out.
Like a butterfly.
Yeah. I'm like a walking mosquito. So that was interesting, that when the reconstruction came through, that's what it looked like, So that fits right in with the alien hybrid, human hybrid conspiracy thing there, or thought process there. But during a DNA study of the skull, they recovered mitochondrial DNA, which is DNA from the mother, and then however they did multiple attempts, they couldn't get nuclear DNA, which is the mother and the father.
Nucleic DNA.
Yeah, and so this lack of nuclear DNA typically means there's something wrong with the father's DNA.
Yeah.
And usually that means it's not human origin.
Or there was no father DNA.
Or there was no father.
Made in a test tube.
Right. Dum dum dum.
Yeah.
And if the father would have been human, the DNA should have been easy to recover as recovering the mother's DNA, And but it turns out after they did further DNA testing, they found out that the mother was not human either. So this information, now they believe that this Star Child skull is an alien skull, alien baby. It's an alien baby.
Wonder why they found it dead in a mine grabbing another human.
Yeah, so it probably crashed in a ship or something, and they were like, let's take it up to the cave. Take it up to the mine. It's about to die. And they started burying it, and it's like, no.
You're coming with me.
Phone home.
Just grabs him and instantly shatters his nervous system or something.
E.T. phone home. They were freaked out by the little glowing finger. So you can see when you're going into the nostril. Anyways.
Oh, your biological flashlight.
Yeah. Oh. Can you shine your finger in my mouth? So in many cultures you see stories of these kind of hybrids. You have what's wrong with you? Oh yeah. Okay. So you guys might hear some chihuahua licking going on.
They probably can't
he's
hear
been
it, and
quiet.
just out of no context, you go, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, well,
hear me giggle.
that might be the case with Harrison's making faces here, and
I was trying
Queso's
not to
sitting
laugh.
back there just looking at us, and
stopped
every
when
once in
you
a while he
looked
gets a
at
little
him.
lick
Yeah.
going on, licking his paw or something. It's a little disturbing sounding. Anyways, so many cultures they have like this. You can't really. I mean, they don't call it alien hybrid, but many cultures they talk about these heavenly creatures or beings coming down and mating with human women and having these hybrid babies and stuff.
Because before you started leading into that, my brain immediately thought of like a bunch of stuff about that, like Zeus, demigod babies, God even mating with a mortal, or not even mating, but having Jesus with Mary.
The spirit coming in the Mary.
Yeah. There's another one I'm thinking of, a really, really big one, but I can't remember what it is. But like, the Antichrist. The Antichrist isn't like the spawn of two babies. It's the spawn of a demon and a human. But
The spawn of two babies.
Not the spawn of two demons.
Okay.
Not the spawn of two
I was
demons.
about to say
But the spawn of a
two
human and a demon, or a human
Right.
and the devil.
Right.
People are always like, the Antichrist is the devil, but not quite.
Well, I mean, every religion, every culture has that kind of.
Yeah.
There's somewhere along the lines where they talk about that. They have some heavenly body or heavenly creature entity comes down and mates with the women, and and then they have these hybrid offspring. And these, it's no different here. I mean, natives believe the same thing. Most indigenous people of different areas do, but even North America, the native people believe that. And these cultures typically believe these kids come here to prepare the people of this world for an upcoming event. That alien theorists believe this is a prophetic description of the arrival of aliens. I mean, we see it in Christianity. You see it in all different religions. Like you said, Mary's, the Holy Spirit came into Mary, and Jesus was conceived, and that he was able to heal people. He did all these wonderful things, and so that you see that a lot through different religions. Basically the same kind of stuff and stories, and many of these stories speak of whatever comes down coming in a glorious fashion, having great unveiling or revelation of their identity, and many stories like this are actually found in like I said, most religious beliefs. So they're kind of parallel in a lot of ways. I mean, you have a lot of them have their stories of the flood. Christianity talks about it, and there's other religions that talk about a great flood. And it's believed by some that reincarnation could be the same thing. Kind of, they talk. There's certain religious orders that believe in reincarnation, and it's it's kind of funny thinking about that, because have you heard stories about like these kids that say they are reincarnated like multiple times, and they can remember stuff, like when they're little, they just blurt out something about something they shouldn't have any idea about. And, I worked with a guy one time that claims he had this, I don't know what they call it. Was it like regression or something, where they go back and try to figure out who you're reincarnated? The people that believe that. I can't remember what they do. It's like, I don't know if it's hypnosis, regression therapy or something, but this guy said he was the Red Baron in the future, in his past life. Where are you going? Just like got up, like, I'm out of here, man. I'm tired of this. I'm not doing it no more. But anyways,
it's like a $10 chair.
Well, and it's gonna feel like that.
Yeah, that's why I got up to just.
We're gonna get better though. We're gonna get upgrade stuff hopefully one day. Maybe 10 years from now. Yeah. We'll still be sitting here like, Arr. But and another story we just watched some stuff about this was the black-eyed children. Some people believe black-eyed children are a form of Star Child, but they're here for malevolent reasons. They're not. They're the ornery black-eyed children.
Opposite.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's pretty much a wrap on that subject for us tonight. Mm-hmm. You got anything you want to add? Any little closing thoughts about the Star Children? Are you a Star Child?
Maybe.
I don't know, man. Some of those grades you're getting, I don't know, man.
I got good grades. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you're smart. You just don't want to work. I don't blame you. I don't want to work either. I can't find out something better to do though. I could do this. I could talk to people all day. Yeah. But just not going to pay the bills.
Psychiatrist.
I don't have the degree for that. So. By the way, speaking of degrees, we're not professionals. Just in case you thought we were. Can you
imagine us not being professionals?
We're just talking about stuff we don't really know about. We research and read about, but we don't really.
We knew about it, but
we don't know. Nobody knows most of this stuff.
Like, I always think the coolest thing ever. Like, everybody's talking about, oh, they wish they could fly, and oh, they wish they had super speed.
Not me. I want to stay right on the ground. I'm not made to fly.
Like I wish I had super speed. That's neat. But I wish there was, like, just a meteor just dropped in our backyard or like in everyone's backyard, and it just had like a computer in it, and you could just like even like a story type thing. This could be like a neat story, like a old, you know, early or late 1900s computer just drops out of the sky like old Windows, and you just start typing. You just ask any question, it just answers any question you have about anything in the universe.
So it had to be running Google. Is that what you're saying?
But you could ask it
first generation computer with the Google browser.
Anything,
not gonna happen.
Any question about anything, and it would just answer it. Like just infinite knowledge.
Don't you have that now?
No. Can you ask?
Oh, you're talking about
like omniscient. Like
you're not talking about like just knowledge, like
knowledge.
Google knowledge.
I'm talking about like omniscient, like all universe secrets of the
God
universe.
computer is what you want.
Yeah, basically, quantum processing computer.
But yeah, bad things come with that.
True, but I feel like the ultimate superpower would be omniscient knowledge. I feel like that'd be pretty neat. You know everything about everything.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be really good.
But then you'd be really dangerous.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be really bad and really good at the same time. All the governments would be seeking you down, but I mean, you'd know how to escape from them. You know all their weaknesses and stuff. But omniscient.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be neat. Yeah.
That would be neat, but like I said, scary stuff.
Information is gold.
Yep. Information is power. So I get stared at by a chihuahua. Don't look down the hallway. There's nothing down there.
There's nothing down the hallway.
Don't look down there and act like there's something down there.
No, not there either. Just look at us. Or fall asleep, please.
Close your eyes. Quit acting like you see stuff. He's got really big ears.
He got really big eyes.
And big eyes. He might be he might be a
Star Child.
He's not an alien. What is he? He's a
Kingman. He's a
Chihuahua alien. Chihuahuan.
Chalian.
He's a Chalian.
Are you dog alien?
I believe one eye goes in one direction, one goes the other. Casey, you're looking around a corner with your left eye.
That eye's looking this way and his other eye's looking over there.
Crazy. He's a good dog. He's a good dog. We're giving him a hard time.
He's resting.
He's like, leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. Big dummies.
You know what? Queso's not a black-eyed child. He's a black-eyed dog.
Well, he's not black-eyed anyway. I think they're brown.
Mm-hmm.
They're like a dark brown.
They look brown, but they turn black.
I swear he can manipulate one eye. You could be an Apache pilot. Seriously. Dude, you're just about to knock that cabinet over.
Can you imagine Queso in an Apache? He's just sitting there. He's got one paw on the thumbstick or on the joystick, and he's like looking back. He's like, "We gotta get out of here." He's like whipping it all around.
He's like, "Hold on, I gotta lick my foot."
Machine gun fire. Yeah, they stop. They just stop and hover in the middle of
plane. The helicopter. Helicopter crashes while he's licking his paw.
Queso, you an Apache pilot? I think he's more of a Cobra dog.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so you got anything else?
No, not really.
What were we gonna talk about?
Oh,
we were gonna make
Tide Pods.
Oh yeah, public service announcement. Don't eat Tide Pods. Who thinks that's a good idea? Who thought that was a good idea?
It was a meme a long time ago, and it was like, Tide Pods, because it was with the whole kids are eating Tide Pods because they look like candy thing. And then teenagers and adults were being stupid with it, and they were like, Tide Pods.
I gotta imagine, like, the first time your tooth penetrates that weird,
cellophane or whatever.
Cellophane membrane, which is like, it reminds me of
Gushers.
No, it reminds me of like the old school butcher hot dogs you buy from that are in links, and you have to snap them apart.
Yeah.
And they get that little nasty skin on them where they, make the hot dogs. That's what it reminds me of. It's like, who would think that's a good idea? I put it in there and you pop it. They can't taste good.
They don't taste good because it's chemicals. They told you, like, people are like, oh, it's just laundry detergent, but it's so bad that, like, they say if you swallow it, don't throw it back up because it'll do more damage coming up than it will sitting in your stomach. Because it's extremely basic and your stomach acid is acidic, so it'll balance it out a little bit. But if you try and throw it back up, it'll come back through your throat and your esophagus and do a ton of like damage, like just burning it. Because
it's kind of like
people always think, oh,
sticking a fish hook in your skin.
Yeah, like a million of them. But
just keep pushing it through.
Okay, like they say like people always think, oh, acid will burn your skin, but like really basic things will too.
Yeah.
Like bases are just as bad as acids if they're that
Right.
low on the pH. Or is zero's acidic, right?
I don't know.
Is it?
I knew that stuff like 35 years ago.
I think 0 is acidic and 14 is basic. Or it could be the other way around. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I know 7 is neutral.
Sounds good. I should know it because we have to do
I was
that
gonna
stuff
say,
with the
you
pool.
were in Westinghouse for.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about that stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
we just played with uranium. That's all we did.
No big deal. They just played with uranium
yeah.
pellets.
Yeah, it was not a big deal. So,
Could have caused.
yeah, that's don't eat Tide Pods. It's just like the stupidest thing you could possibly do.
In 1 second, we went from talking about playing with uranium to eating Tide Pods.
I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. Reality. I just don't. Well, yeah, it don't make any sense.
Don't eat Tide Pods.
That is an unexplained reality. Eating Tide Pods.
Don't drink antifreeze. Don't drink ladder food.
Yeah, we had dogs die in our neighborhood. In fact, my dog growing up, his father died from drinking antifreeze because the guy next door to them left it out
That's awful.
in an open container out in his carport and knocked out two dogs.
Don't eat drywall thinking that it's cotton candy. Or not drywall, insulation.
Oh, gosh. That would suck.
That would really suck really bad.
That's one of those things you can just look at and it'll start making you itch.
Just the thought of it makes
It's like
you
poison ivy.
head itch,
So, yeah, that's our public service announcement. Don't eat Tide Pods.
Don't eat any laundry pods, period.
Any laundry pods. Don't put chemicals in your
Don't
body
eat
that aren't
anything
supposed
that
to be in
isn't
there.
Food.
Yeah, for real.
Like good food.
Yep. So, all right. As usual, we're working on some things. If they come through, hopefully in the next few weeks, if not sooner, should make for some interesting episodes. We'll see. We did officially hit 10,000 downloads. We thought we had hit it like a month ago, and it turns out it was just the hosting vendor making some changes to their analytics, and it gave me a false positive. And I know it said like 10,020 downloads. So I got all happy, created a little thing, sent it out there on Instagram. Next time I went back and refreshed it, it was like 9,200. I was like, what? So, but officially yesterday, wasn't it? Or the day before, we hit 10,000.
It was yesterday.
So I didn't send out another little Instagram post, Facebook post, blast, all that stuff. I didn't do it again because I don't look like a dummy. So,
They changed it again.
yeah. So we go back and look. It's like, no, you're 8,200. There's a subtracting.
Yeah, it just keeps
You hit 10,000. Now we're going backwards.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's great. Thanks for downloading and listening to us. If you have an experience or had an experience or an encounter with something you can't explain, or, yeah, if you think it's something we'd be interested in, doesn't matter what it is, shoot us an email, unexplained.reality@yahoo.com. You get us on Facebook, hit us on Instagram, hit us on Twitter, come follow us, like us, all that good jazz. We'd love to hear from you. If you would like to leave us a comment, rate us, go to iTunes, go to Stitcher, wherever.
Or YouTube.
YouTube, yeah, go to YouTube and rate us, comment on us there. And we'll try to keep up with it. I won't let 5 months go by before I realize that people actually left comments. We'd appreciate it. It just helps us become more visible, as I said before. Whenever you rate us and review us, the more we get, the better it is for the show. I still need to work on getting our domain on a website. I've been paying for it for like a year, and I don't have it linked to a website yet, so we need to work on that. Could get some time to do it. And so hopefully unexplainedreality.com will be up eventually. We'll let you know when it does. Oh, we started TeePublic. TeePublic.com/user/unexplained_reality. You can go to that website and order a t-shirt. We'll be adding some more designs over the next couple weeks. Right now we just have our basic our basic little artwork there on a tee, and you get it hoodies, you can get mugs, you can get phone cases, stickers. There's a bunch of stuff. So when you just see the t-shirt there in the shop, that's not all you can get. Just drill down into it, click on it, go down into it, and you'll see hoodies and sweatshirts, long sleeve, tank tops, all kinds of different stuff. You can get stuff for kids t-shirts, kids hoodies. The only thing they don't have there is like hats and mouse pads and stuff, but they have a bunch of other stuff. Different kinds of mugs and totes and
You know what I'm sad
pillows.
They don't have? Pants.
Pants. Yeah, I'm sorry, Harrison.
Wish they had some lounge pants.
He wants lounge pants.
Maybe even cargo pants and just have it
Cargo
in
pants.
like
I think they should have it in like
parachute
pants. Parachute pants. Oh, I had some of those, man. That's just, that is like freaking Static Factory right there, baby.
You walk around and people can hear you from a mile away, so you're
Yep. And you go to shake their hand and you light them up.
You just point at somebody and they could be across the room.
It's a Tesla coil.
You could make like a finger gun. It's like
We could blow all the hair off of Queso. Look, he's looking at us. He's like, look, I'm looking at both of y'all with this at the same time. Queso, you're a good boy, Queso. I'm sorry, but you really do. Your eyes are crazy. You crazy little deer head chihuahua. Yeah, you're good. Anyway, so go out there, buy you something. We get a couple dollars if you buy something. It helps go towards the show. If you want to just donate money to the show, you can hit us up on PayPal. Just go to our address is unexplained.reality@yahoo.com. That's our PayPal account, and if you got a couple dollars you can throw to us, that'd be great.
Yep.
So we need to buy some equipment and do some changes here so we get better sound quality. But we're already putting out money every month, so we'll do it when we can. But if you want to speed up the process, you can throw us some dollars if you want. Why are you looking at that?
stop.
He is like just staring at the cabinet. All right, so we might be having some paranormal activities going on.
We're gonna be having
room.
some movers come over, moving that gun.
We know,
that old
yeah, for
gun
real.
cabinet
Take that
out of
thing
here.
back to the
no.
back to the thrift store. It looks so good though. It's got all my stuff in it. Anyways, we're going off on a tangent. We apologize for all this rambling.
Priest in here.
Please, if you have an experience or had an experience, encounter anything like that, don't hesitate to talk to us. We act crazy and we're just a father and son team here just having fun, but we can be serious. So don't let that turn you away. You can hit us unexplained.reality@yahoo.com, like I've said about 18 times now. You got anything else, buddy?
No.
All right.
Good.
All right, we're gonna put you guys out of your misery. We have our podcast that we listen to, and we want to spread the love. So if you're not listening to them, you need to be following, subscribing to these podcasts. The Grayling Report,
Confessionals.
yep, Into the Fray Radio,
Somewhere in the Skies.
Sass What,
Monsters Among Us.
Grayling Report. Did I say that?
You already said that was the first one you said.
Mysterious Universe.
We need to make a
The
list.
Confessionals. Did we get the
We got
Confessionals?
the Confessionals. We need to
The
make
Cryptid Factor.
Yeah.
Secret Trans Podcast.
Yep. Make sure to check out cryptidcrate.com.
Yep, cryptidcrate.com. That's Monsters Among Us. That's the Derek Hayes box subscription. Check that out. Of course, you'll hear the commercials during this episode.
Yeah.
And as usual, we thank Ricky Young for allowing us so graciously to use his music for our podcast. He is a local guy, and you can check him out at rickyyoung.com. And I think that's it. Queso said he's ready to go OUT and then go to BED, right? You're just like a little toddler.
He's gonna
Had to
learn
spell everything.
abbreviations.
Queso, you want to go upstairs? You want to go pee-pee? You go outside?
He's
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you talking to that silver thing hanging in front of your face? All right, everybody. Have a good week, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
On Unexplained Reality. Da-da-da-da. Can't find a stop. I'm like raking the trackball. Like I'm going to stop at any minute now.
Where's it at?
Where? I don't know. I don't know where my mouse
Oh
is
my
at.
gosh.
Seriously, look. It's not.
On
Oh, there it is.
It's
right
on your
there.
second monitor.
Oh, my monitors are screwed up.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
All right, everybody. Now we're leaving.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you next week.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you guys, knock it off over there. You make too much noise.
Old is where I like to go when I'm feeling like I'm feeling right now. When time was moving slow and this old road to hold wasn't quite so long and loud. Sometimes I just need a little taste of the past, back when my only worry was running out of gas. I dream about the hours underneath that water tower, way before I had a care in the world. On the hood of Tommy's old Chevette, a six-pack and some cigarettes, and we lied about how far we'd get with girls. The drive-ins are now a parking lot, and Walmart took our favorite spot, but I love looking back across the years. My mind is all still crystal clear. I can almost see that water tower from here. I remember the night when Tommy had a fight with his high school sweetheart Beth. Wouldn't cut the lock and climbed up to the top, scared the whole town half to death when he saw how far it was from up there to the ground. The fire department had to come and help him down. I dream about the hours underneath that water tower, way before I had a care in the world. On the hood of Tommy's old Chevette, a six-pack and some cigarettes, and we lied about how far we'd get with girls. The drive-in's now a parking lot, and the Walmart took our favorite spot, but I love looking back across the years. And my mind is all still crystal clear. I can almost see that water tower from here. Can't slow down time or stop the winds of change, but I can close my eyes and simply drift away and dream about the hours underneath that water tower, way before I had a care in the world. On the hood of Tommy's old Chevette, a six-pack and some cigarettes, and we lie about how far we get with girls.